Assessment in Effective Domain Letter D. What is self-report? What should such a self-report essentially contain? How should a teacher instruct the students in writing self-report? Self-report is the information that is collected from an individual's own description of the events, sensations, or beliefs. Self-report may be collected with any of several different methods, for example, surveys and questionnaires, electronic diaries, and clinical interviews. Self-report are distinguished from other methods of data collection because their only source is the respondent's personal account. A self-report study is a type of survey, questionnaire, or poll in which respondents read the question and select a response by themselves without interference. A self-report is any method which involves asking a participant about their feelings, attitudes, beliefs, and so on. There are several things that teachers can take ensure that their students understand instructions. Using clear and precise language makes your students understand easily your idea and many more like repeating your directions, explain the purpose of that task, make sure your students understand, using an appropriate tone, describe the specifics, and many more.
You are not as perfect as you expected. Okay guys, before we start, I want to show a video for you to be able to understand what was my topic is all about. Enumerate and discuss various types of portfolio. Various types of portfolio. A portfolio can demonstrate, develop. In addition, you can also use it to present your competences in particular areas. Sa edukasyon, maaaring gamitin ang isang hanay ng mga produkto upang magawa ito. Tulad ng isang dokumento ng pagsasalamin ng mga resulta, takdang aralin, halimbawa o puna na natanggap mula sa mga lektor, kapwa mag-aaral, o panlabas na supervisor. All instances of products you can include in your portfolio. Three types. There are three types of portfolio. First, a showcase portfolio contains products that demonstrate how capable the owner is at any given moment. So, sinasabi niya dito, nagpapakita daw ng kakayahan ang may-ari sa anumang naibigay na sandali. Second, an assessment portfolio contains product that can be used to assess the owner's competences. Ang portfolio daw, naglalaman ng mga produkto ng maaaring gamitin o magamit upang masuri ang kakayahan ng gumawa nito. Number 3. A development portfolio show how the owner has developed and therefore demonstrate growth. Ang ganitong uri daw ng isang portfolio ay kadalasan naglalaman din ng mga produkto mula sa iba't ibang yugto ng proseso. Mga yugto kung saan natatanggap ang puna at posibleng mga produkto mula sa trabaho na isinasagawa pa rin. Who can benefit from a portfolio? Supported by a portfolio, lecturers their lecturing skill and demonstrate their educational skill. Ang mga lektor ay maaaring bumuo ng kanilang mga nakasanayan pang-edukasyon. For example, with a portfolio, student can slow their develop of academic skill or how they have more incompetent, professional during their work experience placement or internship. After completing their studies, student can also use their portfolio in some instances to demonstrate their work to prospective employers. Thank you.
Guys, I'm Francis Digatok and I'm here to answer some question again. So what is a semantic differential scale? Semantic differential scale is a survey or a questionnaire rating a scale that asks people to rate a product, company, brands, or any entity within the frame of multi-point rating option. So, semantic differential scale is a type of serving rating scale for psychological measurement. It helps to get to know your audience attitude, approaches, and perspective.
What is portfolio assessment? Portfolio is an assessment method that monitors the growth and development of student learning. Unlike most assessments, portfolio assessment can contain many different forms of assessment as it a collection of student work. A portfolio assessment is sometimes followed by an oral assessment. What are the key elements of a portfolio? Number 1. Effective diversification beyond asset location. Traditional views of diversification tend to focus on asset classes. Although holding various asset classes can help steer you towards diversification, they don't go far enough to provide meaningful diversification benefits. Number 2. Active management, tactical asset allocation strategy. Research show that the market are relative most information is already priced into the stocks. Number 3. Cost efficiency. Whether you are managing your own investment or working with an advisor, paying fees is a fact of life. So if you are going to pay fees, make sure you are getting a good values. Number 4. Tax efficiency. The real measures of success for an investment strategy is how much is your money you can actually get to keep. That's where incorporating tax efficiency into the investment philosophy comes in.
Portfolio assessment. Letter E question. How does portfolio assessment differ from traditional testing and from other authentic assessment methods? So, a portfolio assessment measures a student's ability to apply and use knowledge learned in class, while traditional test measures what a student has learned, and authentic assessment is a way of testing that can gauge how students apply knowledge to real-world situations.
I discussed the topic about educational evaluation. The basic principles in evaluation, assessment, and education. Assessment should be valid. Validity ensures that assessment tasks and associated criteria effectively measure student attainment of the intended learning outcomes at the appropriate level. Second, assessment should be reliable and consistent. There is a need for assessment to be reliable and consistent process for the setting, marking, grading, and moderation of assignments. Third, information about assessment should be explicit, accessible, and transparent. Clear, accurate, consistent, and timely information on assessment tasks and procedures should be made available to students, staff, and other external assessors or examiners. Assessment should be inclusive and equitable. As far as is possible without compromising academic standards, inclusive and equitable assessment should ensure that tasks and procedures do not disadvantage any group or individual. Assessment should be an integral part of program design and should be related directly to the program aims and learning outcomes. Assessment tasks should be primarily reflect the nature of the discipline or subject, but should also ensure that the students have the opportunity to develop a range of generic skills and capabilities. Next, the amount of assessed work should be manageable. The scheduling of assignments and the amount of assessed work required should provide a reliable and valid profile of achievement without overloading staff or students. Next, formative assessment should be included in each program. Formative and summative assessment should be incorporated into programmers to ensure that the purpose of assessments are adequately addressed. Many programmers may also wish to include diagnostic and assessment. Next, timely feedback that promotes learning and facilitates improvement should be an integral part of the assessment process. The students are entitled to feedback, submitted formative assessment tasks, and summative tasks. Where appropriate, the nature, extent, and timing or feedback for each assessment task should be made clear to students in advantage. And last, staff development policy and strategy should include assessment. All those involved in the assessment of students must be competent to undertake their roles and responsibilities.